Partha's second part of the book of the talk Man and the Universe. Dr. Partha Sarathi Prasad Sarangi ji is working as a professor in the Humanities and Social Sciences Department in Balasore Engineering College. He did his PhD from Utkal University in 2006. He's a member of the Cuttack Lodge and he restarted the Balasore Lodge. He's a national lecturer from the Indian section. So, welcome, Professor Partha. Please start.
Thank you. As I have already given my first talk in my previous class, so broadly, I am going to recapitulate what I have tried to say in my last class. So last class was a little bit difficult in the sense, with my limited capacity, I have tried to link theosophy with the latest findings of the quantum physics. Mostly, if we see the scientific study and if you see theosophical literatures, they both agree with each other. When the entire universe came into being, if you look at the journey of the subatomic particles, or you can say, if we look at the birth of a photon up to the formation of the molecules and the entire creation of the element from where this physical universe came, it repeats the same story that we tell in the theosophy, that gradually how the divine atoms in the Adi plane initially created and later on it in its descending order it reproduced itself in different planes, and the more and more it started descending, the more and more it limited its divine quality and it's entered into different coverings. And when it reached at the physical level, it has already lost its brilliance, it has lost its brightness, and this physical universe came into existence. So, in my last class, I have said that this universe actually is made of light, and also we know that everything that we see is nothing but energy. So, what we see and what I perceive, this physical universe, all these concrete forms are actually shadow. They are not the reality. The reality in reality, they are the extension of a great divine energy. If I say, if I define what matter it is an energized form of energy. So the universe is nothing but a continuous glow of energy. And it is a holographic presentation of a great cosmic play. And we all are the part and parcel of this cosmic play. And being a man and one of the highest terrestrial creature, it is my fundamental purpose to understand this grand scheme of nature and also with my limited capacity to try to explore that great hidden universe which is sleeping within me. In fact, there is no difference between the man and the universe. Today we'll discuss, or I will try to tell what man is, how his bodies have been formed, and in which way he has to evolve himself so that he can reveal the entire universe which is hidden within him. I will say that each man is nothing but the extension of that great divine force. If we look deeply within myself, I can discover that great invisible force which is incessantly revealing itself within me. And as a man, it is my true purpose of life to understand it, to realize it, and to explore that great force which is behind the screen, and every time, every moment, it is revealing itself. But owing to my limitations, I am unable to perceive it. So, what man is? We all know that man is called a Jivatma, a combination of matter and spirit. Or we can say, in our old Indian philosophy, it is a combination of Prakriti and Purusa. Therefore, man is called as Jivatma. Others are not called Jivatma. And this Jivatma is nothing but a link between the visible and invisible. A man is a bridge that links this visible world to this invisible world. In fact, in our true essence, we all are gods, but we have put on the mask of a human form. So I have the mask of a human form. Practically, I am not a human being. Within me, sleeping the godhood. And initially, the godhood in the physical universe is revealing itself in a human form. So, spirit within my body has been covered with so many layers and layers and layers. It has been worked with so many type of coverings because of this involution process. And because of these coverings, because of these repeated reproductions, involvement in this lower world, it has hidden itself within a wave of thick particles. We can technically say that we all are under the deep blanket of ignorance. So, what I need to do, I have to uncover, I have to unfold, I have to explore that how much beautiful am I? What is that radiant spirit that is growing within me? And that is also the true purpose of life. Then, if you look at the formation of man, I will say the same process that followed the formation of the universe, the same process also repeated in the formation of man. As man is a miniaturized expression of the divinity, it is subtle expression of the same divine force. So the same process also followed in the formation of the human body. Initially, when we have a universe at that time, we don't have the individualized soul, which we can say spirit, which we can say Atman. Initially, everything was Brahman. It is the part of the Brahman that reveals itself in this phenomenon world. But then the same Brahman also wanted to send a part of its to its phenomenon world so that the entire process of evolution can go on. So initially there was pure Brahman, and from this pure Brahman came the Saguna Brahman, or I can say actually came the monad. And when the monad is created, and when a monad is formed, it is undoubtedly a great development in the entire chain of evolution. It is an individualized expression of the divine light. We can say it is a spark split from the divinity. So the creation of a monad, when this monad appeared first time in the space, it it was a tremendous development in our entire planetary evolutionary system. And this monad never came so easily. Behind this formation of the monad, so many divine beings, they work tirelessly. They work incessantly. They work for centuries and centuries together. They put all their force, all their Nirmayakas and Dhyan Chauhans and so many Dhyanis, they get together and they applied all their energy. They worked tirelessly to create such a form in which the universe can reveal itself. And after their repeated efforts, after their day and night work, a monad was created. And when a monad was created, it lighted up the entire evolutions. Unlike it can be compared that when the king entered the court, the king never entered the court as long as the court is not ready. King enters after the monarch appears. Initially, it was pure Brahman, and the planes are created. From the Adi to the physical, the planes are created. After the formation of the planes, then the bodies are created. And after the formation of this plane, this monadic and these other subtle bodies, they are also created. But before the creation of the bodies, the monad actually came into existence. And we can say this monad is referred to by animation as a child of eternity. Unlike a child sleeps within the cradle of a mother, initially the monad was totally ignorant about its own brilliance. It is brilliant. It has tremendous color. It has tremendous vibration. It has undoubtedly the great force from which it has dissociated itself. But initially, the monad is like a child. It is unknown about its potency. It is unknown about its own greatness. And like a child sleeps in the cradle of a mother, similarly, the monad was sleeping in the cradle of the divine mother. It was sleeping there. It was enjoying the divine bliss. But the monad was not created just only to enjoy the divine bliss in an ignorant manner. The monad has to come down. It has to be involved in this phenomenon world, and then it has to again regain its divinity. And that is the main purpose for which this universe has been created and this evolutionary process has been going on. So after the formation of the monad, then the subtle bodies of the man's, they started its own formation. And the same process of the universe also followed. Unlike the atoms of the Adi plane, they subdivided itself. And again, from the lowest subdivision of the Adi plane came the atom of this Anupadaka plane. Again, from the lower subdivision of the Anupadaka plane, again came the atoms of the atomic plane. Same thing also followed in the formations of the monad and its essence and its body. So the monad cannot calm down. The monad need to work. The child cannot sleep forever. So the vehicle of the monad is created. And we all know the vehicle of the monad is buddhi. The buddhic plane was created. It is through the buddhic plane the monad gets itself into activity, into this divine world. It works, it sees, and it perceives through this buddhi. And this buddhic plane also is created from the divine atoms of this monad. And again, the Buddhic plane further subdivided itself, and the higher mental or the causal body came, which we can say higher mental, which also we can say causal. And that becomes another delicate body, the divine body, through which the monad can further come down to the lower world and can involve itself into phenomenal world. So the parts, three bodies, Atma, Buddhi, Manasa, they are the divine bodies. They are the rare bodies. But these divine bodies itself, they have the divinity, but they do not have that potency through which they can enter into this phenomenal world. The three bodies are the part of the nominal world. So these bodies again need further vehicles, need further descending force so that they can descend, so that they can individualize themselves, so that they can pass through the different phase of evolutionary process in different planes. So these Atma, Buddhi, Manasa, they cast a shadow, and from that the lower world also created. That is called the first world of Manasa, or we can say the Rupa world. And then comes the astromental or the astral, we can say, or also the astral has so many subdivisions. It can be sub-astral. And from this astral again came etheric or the ethereal. And from the ethereal came the physical. So similarly, different planes have been created through which the man again will ascend and will regain its lost paradise. And all these formation of the bodies, they have been created through the aeonic process. It's a different evolutionary systems. It has a longer period, longer duration beyond our imagination. We cannot express it by years. We cannot express it by centuries. We can say what that these are the aeonic process. It passes through several eons. And after all these things completed, then the first man took birth and came into existence. And who is the first man? We all know the first man that appeared in the evolutionary system is not at all a man as we are feeling it, as we are observing this today. The first man, commonly referred to as the first root race that appeared itself in this entire phenomenon world, was hardly called a man. And this first root race man, which we very often know some information about it through secret doctrine, gives some faint idea that what once upon a time the body of a man used to be. So the first man is not completely dedicated body having it today. So the first man was like a, we can say, was like a floating cloud. He had not been properly formed. His bodies were not properly designed. It has not yet given a proper shape. Its organs were not so developed. So the first man that appeared in this planetary gem is not a man who has actually seen in Earth. The first man or the first root race never appeared in Earth at all. It was the main focus of the first man was the gods of the from the lunar logos of the lunar planet. So these gods of this lunar planet, they formed the first man. And when the first man was formed, it also passes through so many type of rounds. We know that it passes through different type of rounds. And when the first man passes through different type of rounds, in every round, the etheric body of the man gradually developed itself. And when the first round or when this first root race totally completed itself, at that time, the first man developed only one sense that is called the sense of hearing. So the first man on the earth was not on the earth. The first man was not physical. The first man was ethereal. The first man didn't have any delicate organs. It had only a vague sense of hearing. At the end of the round of the first root race, the first man developed only one sense. That is called the sense of hearing. And again, from the seventh round, from the sixth round of the first root race, gradually started the second root race. The second man that appeared in the screen of this evolutionary process also didn't belong to Earth. It was also not physical. The second root race also not physical. In some cases, it is referred in secret doctrine as gigantic, sub-etheric human monsters. They were very much big, they were very much formless, but they were not 100% physical. They were sub-etheric. And their growth also not through the reproductive system. The first man or the first root race developed itself to fission. So the first root race man's reproductive organs were fissions. There was no sex division was there. It was purely asexual. Second man also, the second root race also purely asexual. It started growing itself through body. Budding is a process through which also the trees develop. That particular a small form that develop itself into several branches, into several, you can say leaves also, leaves and branch that gradually develops itself. Similarly, same process also followed the second rootless man. The second rootless man developed a second sense, the sense of touch. So the first sense was the sense of hearing developed in the first root race. In the second root race, we came in contact with the next sense that is called the sense of touch. That's the reason for which often it is said that the God which was sleeping completely dark in the dark cabins of the soul started waking itself. And through this evolutionary process in which we pass through, or our previous generations passed through them, the sleeping God was gradually revealing itself and growing with more and more splendor. So, from the same process also followed. From the fifth, sixth, and seventh round of the second root race came the man of the third root race. The man of the third root race who developed itself was undoubtedly a concrete development. The third root race man got a physical body. Of course, the physical body was not the body as today we are having, but it had a physical body. It didn't have an etheric body. And the third rootless man, when came into existence, it also developed so many other characteristics. Another sense developed. The third rootless man developed a sense of sight. The sense of eye gradually revealed itself in the third rootless man. As the third rootless man was physical, it also passed to several rounds. As we know that each root race had seven rounds. Similarly, the third root race man, when appeared first time in the first round, at that time it didn't evolve itself as it revealed itself in the sixth and seventh round. Initially, we had some vague references. Practically, we don't have any concrete photos. We don't have any complete knowledge what happened in the third root race, but we had some references. It says that the sense of I that developed itself in the third root race was also not 100% achieved its refinement. For the first time, the man started developing some amount of sense organ through which he can physically see. But these eyesights were also not perfectly developed. Initially, the third rootless man had a single eye, and then he started having some multiple eyes also. It has been said that the third rootless man that first time appeared itself, initially they had three eyes. Even they had an eye on the back of their head. They can see from their back also. Some of them had three eyes and one arm. They don't have the two arms. So gradually also, when the successive evolutionary process passed through, the third rootless man developed also different forms. They had multiple heads also. As it has been referred to, that the third rootless man had four arms lateral. They had three eyes, and some of them also had different type of body parts as today we cannot or we couldn't think of them. And but one thing is that the third rootless man didn't have any principle of manasa. It never developed itself. The third rootless man to some extent developed some amount of instinct. The third rootless man was completely an animal, instinctive. It was governed with instinct. There was no manasa principle was there. And there was some amount of sexual deviance in the third rootless man. And the third rootless man was semi-conscious. semi-conscious in the sense his interactions with the outside world is only governed by his instinctive process. He couldn't see even what today we can see that. And the eyes and their arms and their different organs that they initially had on the third rootless man was completely out of our imaginations. We can say that if we look to our old literature, very often it was referred to that how some beings were there. They had their eyes and had their mouth, even in their, you can find stomach also. Even their arms came out of their bellies also. To some extent, this process also happened in the third rootless man. The nature experimented itself in different ways, which was designing the perfect form through which the man could develop itself later on. However, the third rootless man, popularly referred to as Lemurians, once upon a time they were living in the Pacific Ocean. Today, we can see a Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. Once upon a time, the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean were land masses. And in that landmass of the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean, the third rootless man was living. Same process also followed. From the sixth and seventh subdivision of the third root race man came the fourth root race. And when the fourth root race happened, we can say the entire ascending order came to a particular step. The divine entity ascended itself to the lowest level. And in the third root race, the lowest level has been achieved. And the fourth root race started its journey from this lowest physical level. And this fourth rootless man also developed some other delicate senses, which neither the previous man couldn't develop. The fourth rootless man, they had the power of speech. The language started from the fourth rootless man. So they developed the power, two things. They developed the power of speech. They also developed the power of taste. So in the fourth rootless man has four senses. They could hear, they could touch, they could taste, and they also could speak. And these things developed. But in this fourth root race, the man was 100% an animal. To some extent, he had an intellectual body. But his intellectuality should not be compared to our intellectuality. His intellectuality was purely an extension of the astromental. He was 100% a physical man, but he had some instinctive characteristics. He had some type of intellectuality by which he can read his own intellect, by which he can pass some amount of judgment. And here what happens, an historic thing also happened in the entire cosmos, in this when this fourth root race started evolving itself. In the fourth root race, what happened that the monarch, which was revealing itself in different forms, in the form of an animal and the form of a human being, these two kingdoms permanently separated themselves. So the animal kingdom and the human kingdom, the 100% got itself separated in the fourth root race. That means any monarch which was expressing itself through the animal form, he cannot graduate himself to this human form. Only the monarchs which were in the human form in the fourth root race, they actually came to the fifth root race. And the animals couldn't graduate themselves into human beings. And this process was stopped. Only the Jivatmas or the monarchs, they could come to the next successive races. And we also know that there was the fourth man, 100% these two sexual divisions were permanently established. The reproductive systems were also there. There was attractions, repulsions, there was violence, everything was there. The fourth root race man was a man of 100% action. It was a brutal force. It committed a lot of crimes. But no need to say, the fourth root race man also built so many type of cities. It also had so many type of achievements. It also had beautiful architectures. Today, if you see beneath the sea, some structures were also there. These structures once upon a time was built on the Atlantic civilizations. And this Atlantic civilization was nothing but the expression of the life process through the fourth root race man. And then from the fourth root race came the fifth root race. And when the fifth root race started, man evolved himself much more. And all these manasic principles that we called as a man, it entered itself in this fifth root race. And the fifth root race man developed his higher bodies. He developed his delicate psychic bodies. And here the monad, to some extent, can interact itself with these lower bodies. We have some higher thoughts. We have some higher manasas. And monads from the previous rounds, all these fifth root race persons that we are today, once upon a time, we were in the previous stage in the fourth root race. Only the fourth root race may not graduated themselves into the fifth root race. And all the crimes that we are committed in the fourth root race. And in the sixth and seventh round of this fifth root race, there will be great transformations. Today we are passing through the fourth round of the fifth root race. In this fourth round, some manasic principles are there, but these manasic principles are not enough. To some extent, it is dominated by kama manasa. Therefore, we call it as kama manasa. But gradually we'll see, as we successively develop into different chains, we'll find that in the uh, in the fifth round, the manasic principles will actively operate itself, and these manasic principles will associate themselves with the higher forces. And in the sixth round and in the seventh round of the fifth root race, there will be tremendous development. And already, as we have seen, that the great divine persons, the great divine beings of the sixth root race, they have already started themselves. They have already started coming to earth. And in the sixth round and the seventh round, gradually will be transformed into the sixth root race. No need to say, in the sixth root race, man will develop the sixth senses. In the fifth root race, which sense we develop? The fifth root race, we develop the sense of smell. That is a distinctive, you can find, organ that we refined itself, that we are gradually refining in the fifth root race. So all the five senses which you have today, we have developed every sense in one particular race. Now we have five senses and now we have fifth root race. When we shall go to the sixth race, we shall develop the sixth senses. What we are calling today as clairvoyance power, once upon a time, will be the general ability of the sixth rootless man. The sixth rootless man in the fourth round and the fifth round will develop themselves to a great extent. In the sixth and seventh round, the sixth rootless man will be purely etheric. They will be highly divine. They will have greater clairvoyance power. They will have greater control over their senses. And all these impediments today which you are feeling, the impact of the kama manasa, that will be very much negligible in the sixth root race. And no need to say, in the seventh round of the sixth root race, gradually will be evolved into the seventh root race. The seventh root race, man, we have no information, and as we have some vague informations in the secret doctrine, it says that in the seventh root race, the man will be much more than God, or there will be no distinction between the man and the God. A seventh race man will take birth without having any parents. He will be Ajoni Sambhuta, or he will be Anupadaka, having no parent. The seventh root decide, he will also decide when at which time also he will come. And in the fifth and sixth round of the seventh race, the entire man will be again the etheric and divine, psychic. The physical evolution will come to an end. In the fourth round of the sixth root race, the entire evolutionary process will come to an end. And the great divine beings like the adepts, the Nimayakers, or the masters, they will interact and they will decide that in next planet, as it has been referred to as planet G, our entire evolutionary process will start. So from this small description, we can see that how much care has been taken, and nature how he has been trying to develop a particular form. It is called man. So as we can casually say that who a man is, we never see what is the significance behind the name man. Man is purely manasic. He is purely a psychic being. He is purely a divine being. Hence, the entire purpose of the life to feel that divine force which is within me. And then it comes that when we have so many bodies, how can we discover that universe which is hidden within me? How can I see that great force which is hidden within me? And here we have to say that we have to ascend. And the advantage of the fifth root race is that we have some type of divine powers. That is called the willpower. The fourth root race man didn't have this willpower. Actually, the fourth root race man cannot ascend. He was fixed in his body. But in the fifth root race, we have that power. We have a choice. And if we constantly try, we can also ascend to a great extent. We also can feel that spirit. That is that is the reason for which in the fifth root race we have seen so many divine beings. They have interacted themselves with so many type of human beings who have elevated their consciousness to a higher level. So here I will say that how can we see, how can we feel that great divine force? At times, some people or some rishis they chant a mantra, and what is called Om Mani Padme Hum. At times we can find this mantra. Some rishis are repeating and repeating and repeating. If we see what is the meaning of this mantra, it says, "Oh, my consciousness, be centered on the lotus, and this lotus holds the Atman." So by this very utterance, Om Manipadme Nama, if I utterly every time, every day, if I keep on uttering it by letter and the spirit, automatically this mantra will elevate me and will help my consciousness to focus on my Atman. By constantly focusing my consciousness on Atman, to some extent, I can feel, I can create some conditions in my physical body by which I can feel the presence of Atman within me. So that is the reason for which constantly some peoples are there who are ardently passing through these evolutionary phases and have been trying desperately. I shouldn't use the word desperately, have been willingly trying their best to discover the great force within them is repeating this mantra. Again, I will say another great mantra that can help us in that elevation of the consciousness and that tells how the entire world is hidden within me. That is, no need to say, we all know that is called the Gayatri Mantra. If you repeat the Gayatri Mantra with 100% focus, with greater force, you will find that bring down that bodies. If you look at the mantra, you will find in the mantra all the human bodies are referred to. Om, Vur, Vuva, Swaha. What it refers to? Oh, my physical body. Oh, my instrumental body. Oh, my higher body. Swaha. Tat Savitar Varenyam. What it says that, oh, that glowing, dazzling, great solar splendor which is hidden within me, which is ever sparkling. and how thou art is a great splendor which is there within me. Vargo Devasya Dhimahi, that great force should fulfill all the particles of my body that fill my mind and my body by that great brilliance. Dhiyo Yono Prachodaya. So let me center my attention, let me concentrate my all my consciousness in that great force so that I also can glow with divinity with thee. So if we chant this particular mantra, we can find that very quickly I am elevating my consciousness to a higher level. By quickly, I am developing my delicate bodies. And these delicate bodies I can feel within me. I can feel that every particle in my body is getting chanted by a great higher force. I can feel that resonance of the higher force within me. And so that I can feel the entire universe, the quivers of the entire universe, the chanting of that great force also within me. So these are some mantras, powerful mantras I refer to that any ardent aspirant who wants to elevate himself to a higher level to discover that great divinity which is within him can chant this mantra with 100% seriousness. Then also we have to see that what are the other principles I also should adopt so that I can quicken my evolutionary process. I think the initial thing should be by which I can quicken my evolutionary process will be an ardent will. I have seen also, I think we all have seen in the Theosophical Society, there are very rarest and the rarest and the rarest people are there practically who have decided to walk on this path of spirituality. People come here from different purposes. I think anybody who is entering into this path of spirituality without any purpose, without any motive, just out of the voluntary will, just out of the inner love, only they can prosper. But initially, there must be an ardent aspiration. The aspiration should not be a fickle one. There must be a tremendous willpower that I will ignore all my senses. I do not want to interact with this physical world. I do not want any money, power, or sensuality and the true of my best of my capacity. I want that all the great force should revel within me. Only those people actually are eligible and they I will get the divine blessings. So the initial thing on this path of this evolutionary process in which I can quicken my entire evolution process, I can bring down that higher force is an ardent aspirations. And this ardent aspiration must be followed by bold determinations, no compromise at all. Even I am ready to take off any kind of difficulty. Any persons who want to walk in this path of spirituality, first of all, the he has to sacrifice that. He has to sacrifice all the things he loves. He has to dissociate himself from all material attractions. We cannot say that I can develop myself materially. I also can develop myself spiritually. This is impossible. If I want to evolve my spiritual forces, I need to ignore, I need to dissociate myself from all the material things. And it needs an 100% determinations. And there must be some true vairagya. Vairagya doesn't mean to go away from the home and to seek shelter in a dense forest. That is not the vairagya. Vairagya means having no raga. That no means I can be a married one. I can lead a married life. But voluntarily from the birth, I don't have any material attractions. I don't have any sensual attractions. I don't have any type of involvement, desire for involvement in this material world. I don't need any power. I have no urge for that. I don't have any urge for sensuality. I don't
Partha,
have
voice
any
is not
urge.
audible.
My voice not audible. Is it audible now?
Close the video.
Now is it visible? Now is it audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So anyone who wants to pass through the process of evolutions or want to achieve that higher force, he must be a true Vairagi. True Vairagi in the sense that he should have no material attractions. He should have no urge for money, power, and sensuality. And then comes another thing, that he must be an humble person. He must have a spirit of surrender. Without a spirit of surrender, I cannot discover the Godhood which is hidden within me. I must be humble. I must be 100% bow down myself at the lotus feet of the God. If I am not humble, if I have an iota of arrogance, I cannot discover that great force which is hidden within me. And it must be followed by daily meditation. And meditation is nothing but gradually I have to calm down my mind. So my mind is always, the lower mind is always fickle. It is moving here and there. It is creating all sorts of disturbances. So I must practice daily by doing certain type of mental yoga that is called meditation. I can calm down all my lower the provokings of the lower mind. And when it is getting calmed down, I also can see the great thing which is hidden also within me. That is the reason for which very often also it is said that Aham eva param brahma. So what it says? That actually I am param brahma. Actually I am Brahman. By saying that, I am truly identifying myself with that great Brahman. And when I do that, I can have a direct relationships with that higher force. And when I elevate my consciousness to the most highest level, when I achieve nirvana, when I achieve moksha, when I become jivan mukta, at that time I feel the entire universe within me. I can feel it, I can realize it, and I also can understand that how life is great and what I perceive actually they are false. At that time I can understand that Brahma Satya and Jagat Mithya. Thank you. With this, I end my talk.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, one small thing, when you were talking about the seventh round end of that, you said some Buddha will come. You were saying a few more things about that, but unfortunately, the audio was not there. Could you just repeat that part again? What will be the sense
Which
of the seventh round men,
the seventh round,
which
the
you
man
mentioned
of the
about the
seventh,
some Buddha?
I did say that in the seventh round,
Yes, some
especially in
Buddha
the
is
fourth,
that.
I'm saying that in the fourth round of that seventh race, fourth round of the seventh root race, our entire evolutionary process will come to an end. And in that particular fourth round of the seventh root race, the divine being will come to earth. And those divine
Sir,
beings,
one, sir, one
those
minute,
div-
1 minute. Sir, no, no, sir, 1 minute. Fourth round of the seventh root race. How are you saying this? We are all on the fourth round. In each globe, we have seven root races. So we are already on the fourth round. Now, when you say the fourth round of the seven root race, that is not making sense. You have to say the seventh root race of the fourth round. There's some confusion there.
you can say that we are presently we are in the fourth round of the fifth root race. Presently, we are at the
We
fourth
are
round
we
of the
are
fifth root race.
we are in the fourth round fully, and we are in the fifth root race. Yes.
Right. But I am talking about the seventh root race, the fourth round of the seventh root race. In the fourth
Okay,
round
in
of
the
the
same
seventh
round.
root race.
Okay, in the same round, the seventh root race, you are saying our evolution will be complete. No, sir, I think our evolution will be complete only in the seventh round of the seventh root race.
See, you can
That
refer
is the
to the
average man. I mean, some
uh,
some people could go ahead and some people could go before. But when we finish the seventh round of our chain, complete all the globes, that is the seventh round, in the seventh root race, that's when the the large humanity will complete its evolution. Yes, Buddha is the first sixth rounder we know, but even he has not done the seventh round. Please remember that.
See what is written on the
Yeah.
divine plan that I am referring to. In the divine plan, it has been written that in the fourth round of the seventh root race,
No,
almost the entire evolutionary process will be completed.
no,
And
no,
in
no.
the
It is it is mentioned that it is in the seventh round and seventh root race. Everything will be completed for this chain. Seventh round and seventh root race. We are in the fourth round, fifth root race. Sixth sub race is coming up, and sixth root race will go. Then seventh root race. Then again the round will move. It will again coming in the Earth will be in the fifth round, and fifth round will be in seven root races. Again it will go to the sixth round, then seventh round. I heard Bimalji telling that. Seventh round, seven root races, whole humanity, whatever is coming to this chain will be completed. That is true. All the monarchs will be reach perfection.
just
So,
just one refer to just
uh,
one refer to uh, what I am trying to say,
Sir, this
what is written on the divine plan that I'm referring to, not I'm trying to say, it has been written that, if possible, I can show the WhatsApp copy. It has been written that in the
uh,
fourth round of the seventh root race, the evolutionary process mostly is going to be complete. And in the fifth round and the sixth round of the seventh root race, all the divine beings, the great divine beings, they are descending upon the earth. And in the seventh round of the seventh root race, they will decide the next evolutionary process that is going to happen in the planet G. They have referred to it planet G. So in the seventh round of the seventh root race, the entire
see, the round races, chains, and all these are very complicated. It is something given in secret doctrine, something given man, whence, and
fourth
whether.
root
In
complete.
man's whence and whether, it is very clearly mentioned. Even one of the adept given the diagrams how the chain root races are coming up. That is now recently published by the TPH. So it is a very complicated round races, chains, all these things. So each round, as
sir,
Bimalji pointed out, each round consisting of seven root races. So we are in the fourth round, fifth root race, sixth sub race, sixth is race, sixth root race. There are
fifth,
work started in California, some part of New Zealand, some parts of the your Australia. That the sixth root races work started means fifth round, fourth round, fifth root race, fifth sub race is going on through America, England, all the parts. Then sixth sub race is starting. Then sixth root race, that a book is written by Brother C.W. Leadbeater, a small volume book. It will give the vivid expression, explanation of the sixth root race people, what they are going to do. Then the sixth root race. After that sixth root race, the seventh root race will be completed in this fourth round. Then the whole one express, one scientist in Adair Express, the whole life force will go to the next planet. So there in the next planet, the third round was completed. So there again, fourth round will complete. Then it will go to the invisible worlds like that, what I have given. So this is very complicated, difficult, and sometimes create also it will create problems to understand. Anyway, each and every book and writer has his
no,
own.
sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. You send that WhatsApp forward to us, and I think I will study it and see what
yes,
you're
yes,
saying.
yes,
Whether
yes.
it is some kind of a prediction
Divine plan.
which
We
has
are
been
in
made by
Uttara
Buddha,
Federation. We are going on divine plan. We'll see. Okay, Bimalji, any question from any side or close?
we have 5 6 minutes. Anybody wants to ask anything?
Jayashree,
Open
madam,
now.
would you like to ask any question?
Please unmute.
Oh,
Can you
sorry,
unmute?
sorry. I have not. Yes, Jayashree madam, unmute yourself. Now you can, yes.
Uh, so it refers to the whole mankind. Whatever you said, does it refer to the whole mankind? Because each one's mind is different. One is a very high human being. One is a very low human being, like people murdering and all. So are we? Is it referring to the whole thing, whole this thing that they are going again with us with the fifth root race of the fourth round and all that?
See what happens. Practically, what we are discussing it as general, but that is not 100% applicable to each and every person. Even in the fifth race that today we are belonging to, you can elevate your consciousness to a higher level. You can achieve also the moksha and nirvana, depending upon your individual effort. But as a whole, we are saying that this is the entire divine scheme through which the process of divinizations of the human beings, so the process of spiritual unfoldment is going on. But even if anybody who wants to elevate his consciousness to a higher level by his own willpower, he also can do that. So what I have said, that is a general expression.
Yes, but sir, what about the people who are not developing, who are falling down consciously? What will happen to them?
No, they will gradually develop. Time has not come for them. Many people are there who do not believe in spirituality. They don't think about it. But they have a divine entity which is within them. They need to pass through various incarnations. They will pass through various sufferings. They will pass through different type of races, different type of religions, different type of difficulty. And at a particular time, they will develop their likeness to spirituality, and they will develop their inner evolution. But most of the people, they have not started, but they will very soon, they are going to start, because the fifth rootless man is mostly a man of higher entity. He has the willpower, he has the great psychic power. So undoubtedly, if not today, tomorrow he will develop that.
Yes,
But
tomorrow,
when we are cooperating,
when they'll develop tomorrow, but will they go down? I mean, those who are highly intellectual or conscious minded, they will go high up, and these people will go down or they will be stuck.
there is nobody is going down in the evolutionary process. Everything is going up. Nobody is going down. Even if what we can say a dreaded criminal, but nature is developing him. Everybody is developing themselves. There is not a single soul who can say in the evolutionary process he is going down. No, everybody is going up. But we cannot see how they are developing. But everybody is developing.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you.
thank you, Jayashree ji. Kanchan ji, yes.
हाँ मैं ये कहना चाह रही थी जो अभी मिस्टर पार्थ सारथी ब्रदर पार्थ सारथी ने बोला ना कि फोर्थ रूट सेवेंथ रूट रेस के फोर्थ राउंड में हम फुली डेवलप होंगे कैन वी इंटरप्रेट इट इन ए मैनर कि देयर वुड बी अपॉर्चुनिटी दैट सम ऑफ अस who are doing all this exercise, who are ardent, devoted, everything, they will develop to that extent. Whereas not the entire humanity or all the Atma or all the monads, they may go in the next rounds. Because definitely, but that, point will start from that particular uh, level. Because if we see it from that angle, then we will not find any, contradiction in any of the writings.
Could be,
Because if
मैम एक्चुअली वो पढ़ना पड़ेगा, उसको
हाँ
पढ़ना
नहीं
पड़ेगा.
वो है
हमें भी
लेकिन
ये
अभी
बताना.
उन्होंने बुक से ही पढ़ के बताया तो देयर इज ए
हाँ,
पॉसिबिलिटी कि हर क्लेयरवॉयंट ने या राइटर ने एक्सपीरियंस उन्होंने एक अलग व्यू लिया जैसे मैडम का भी आप देखें उन्होंने अलग अलग जगह अलग व्यू लिया है जैसे दिस रिमाइंड्स मी कि जैसे गीता के लिए भी उन्होंने श्री कृष्ण ने लास्ट में कहा महाभारत में जब अर्जुन ने उनसे कहा कि आप मुझे दोबारा वो कहिए तो उन्होंने कहा मैं कुछ भी नहीं बोल सकता हूँ क्योंकि उस समय मैं गया था योग में एक ट्रांस में जाके उन्होंने वो सारा ज्ञान बांटा है विच इट इज सेट कि 45 मिनट So maybe all these writers at different level when they are writing, maybe today what we are saying, what we are doing, what we are writing, when we read it after a few years, we may improvise in that also. So there is a possibility that on that particular level, the cutoff point starts. Those who have achieved that level may start achieving from that angle, because now also we see, जैसा अभी जयश्री सिस्टर ने पूछा कि उनका क्या होगा जो कॉन्शियसली क्राइम में जा रहे हैं, नेगेटिविटी की तरफ जा रहे हैं, अपनी पर्सनैलिटी को लोअर कर रहे हैं, बट जो उनमें हायर है वो खत्म नहीं होगा कभी भी, वो
मेरे ख्याल
दैट हायर विल रिमेन, ओनली थिंग इज
आई थिंक इनर लाइफ्स में लिखा गया है शायद CWL का, जिसमें फिफ्थ राउंड में कट ऑफ होगा, फिफ्थ राउंड थर्ड रूट रेस में कट ऑफ है, या फिर
हाँ
फिफ्थ
हाँ,
रूट रेस में कट ऑफ है.
this is what I feel. It is exactly like this, what brother has read from the book. But it was a very good deliberation, like it was so smooth, as if he is having the total clarity in his mind, whatever he was talking. Thank you, brother Partha.
Thank you. Now, one thing I would like to say, that what we are reading and what we are speaking, that is simply out of certain type of intellectuality. But in the deep inner, when we do meditate, when actually we practice spirituality, we have a different answer. That automatically answers all my doubts. So this book reading and these discussions, they are helping us, but they cannot help to a great extent to elevate my consciousness to a higher level and to answer all my questions. Only our inner purification can do that.
Also clairvoyance, no, sir? You should be able to read the astrolite. Yes, I think we can end. It was a wonderful talk. There were, like Kanchan ma'am said, there were.
Yes, Bimalji, close it. Yeah, it's going
Yes,
more than
very well done. Yeah. So let's all join together in the closing prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu nidamaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhagavate. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining.